Good morning, friends. There's been a lot going on around our little homestead this week. I've been canning more green beans. So we are up to 13 gallons of beans and that's picked gallons, from 12 plants. And I do declare that I am going to have to do beans again this weekend probably. So there's that. Plus yesterday I did a canner load of pickles, and I'm gonna have to do, look at all these birds. Can you see them all? I'm gonna have to do another canner load of pickles, probably this afternoon or this evening. But I was out doing my morning coffee with Jesus and just being so grateful and thankful for things like this. Look at that, the way the sun just pops over the top of the trees and you can just feel God's love just wrapping around you. So I was out, just kind of checking on things and took off all the squash bug eggs from the pumpkins, and I thought, I better check on the grapes. Now look how crazy these things have gotten. We have neglected them some because of the kitchen. And we were having this issue where they were drying on the vine. See this? And we looked into it, and it's a fungal infection. So we didn't think we were going to have any grapes. And I came out this morning and I'm like, oh look, those guys are friends. And there was actually another picture that I took and sent to Hubs, but let me see, where's the one I wanted to show you? Now those are starting to dry a little, so I might just go ahead and pull them. But as I was walking down through here, of course, now that I've got the video going, I'm not going to be able to find it. But there was just a whole bunch of them just hanging in big clumps. So here's a bunch there. So we are going to have to get with Macedonian neighbor, figure out how these boys are going to process all of these grapes. So I do have a little surprise for you, which I'll show you in my next video. It's funny because I think, I should do a video on canning making the pickles, and I should do a video on canning the beets. And then you just get so busy with doing everything that taking that video is the last thing on your mind. Oh look, because everyone needs tomatillas growing in your grapes. No idea how that got there. Look at all these little fellas. So anyway, I got no videos made, but I did get some canning done. I think I did 3 or 4 canner loads. And then I had to get back to doing other things. Everything's getting neglected. I've been out of town again for a couple days. And, I was working with a lot of food manufacturers, and we were talking about shortages. And me, being someone who raises chickens, I know that it only takes about 8 weeks for us. Usually on the commercial side, it's 6 to grow out a meat bird. So I thought surely by now, the market will recover. Well, they're predicting, and these are the chicken manufacturers, big names that I'm sure you've heard of. There is not going to be a complete recovery of the chicken market until next spring. Right now, schools are scrambling to see what they're going to do for this school year. By the way, we're doing a little garden walk as we go. If you've been watching any of our videos at all, I don't even need to say anything. But here's what tickles me. Look at all the asparagus. And just look. You know how you can't feel God when you go out here and look at everything, I mean, all the challenges, He's still abundantly providing for us. Look at my cosmos. You know, it was a big joke that I was watering it out in the middle of the walkways, and now it's not so funny. I have to try to navigate around it. We are starting to see some blight on more of the tomatoes, so I am thankful that I was able to get more of the newfangled stakes that I got. The champagne bubbles tomatoes are going absolutely nuts. So we are definitely going to save a lot of these seeds. A lot of the girls want them, our girls. And then I'll have some if anybody else wants any. These things are just, and they just hang off in big groups. These are what's left of the Macedonian peppers that the bunny didn't get. And as you can see, they're hanging strong. We're going to have kidney beans. Or, I'm sorry, these are the pinto beans. The kidney beans the bunnies got. So we're just about at a point where we can start harvesting them. I let them go ahead and dry on the vine most of the time, or get pretty close to it. You do want to make sure if you're harvesting them when they are at this stage here, where they're yellow, but they're not dry. Those beans have to be laid out flat, not on top of each other, to dry, or you're going to end up with mold in your dry beans, and nobody wants that. So these are the old homestead beans, and they're finally starting to look like beans. And there are very few beans on here, but it is starting to get some beans. Now, if I was someone who was, you know, looking for this right here, see, there's a few beans. If I was someone who was counting on this to provide for my family for the year, and I had a family bigger than the one I have, I would be freaking out right now, because they have been somewhat disappointing this year. They've undergone the same struggles as the providers, but those providers are living up to their name. So there's our cayennes. Macedonian neighbor wanted some, plus we, you know, this is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 plants. We're getting a lot of cayenne on there. Macedonian neighbor wanted some, plus I actually will dry these outside, and we will use these, I crush up the powder, and we'll actually use this as a deterrent to keep deer and things off of other, plants. And it also, if you sprinkle it on your door jamb where you're coming in and out of your house, it'll keep some of those ants out that people are struggling with. But see, look at this guy. Now he's one of our Tennessee tomatoes, and we just let him go. There's actually two of them there. There's like a Genovese and that smaller one. I forget what those were from last year. But Tennessee tomatoes are volunteers. So we'll probably end up pulling them out. And remember I told you I thought I had toothache plant in my beets? Well, there's the proof, because the beets are just here on the other side. We'll try not to make you dizzy while we walk over here. Here are the beets. And they started to get overrun with this, and I thought, that sure looks like toothache plant. And it was. See all the little toothache? So a toothache plant, if you have a toothache, you pop that flower off, you put it in your mouth, and you suck on it. You do not chew and swallow, and it makes your mouth numb and helps that toothache go away. So what I think I will do is harvest a lot of these flowers, because look how they're holding weeds back. And I'm just going to put them along the edge of the outer fence of the garden. Anything I can do to, looky there, Look at that guy. That's a meteor zinnia. And so, just so you have, I mean, it's as big as my hand. It's huge. And I have big manly hands. But look here. Guess what we're going to be doing this weekend? My guess is we're going to be canning naders. These are the San Marzanos. And look how awesome they're doing with those steaks. So there's the Persian carpet zinnia that was coming up in the middle, and I was joking around and watered. Now look, that'll fix me. So that's pretty much all we've got going on right now. I will show you this. Look how all the pollen he's got on him. Wow. Let's check the fennel and see if it has any friends on it. And then I'll let you go. So this fennel is planted specifically for black swallowtail butterflies, and nothing. We're like Motel 6 here. We've got the light on, but nobody's showing. Bummer. These are those daggone provider beans. I can already see more beans. Lordy day. And then these are the Macedonian peppers that the bunny didn't find. So they're looking pretty good. And they've actually got some pretty decent sized peppers on them. But not like my Marconis. Let me take you over. Now I gotta take you and show you my Marconis. Marconis are one of my favorites. Look at those beasts. All kinds of peppers in there, and they're huge. Can't wait till they turn red. More of those meteor zinnias. So friends, whatever you're doing today, do it with your whole heart. Be encouraged, not discouraged. You know, I was talking about the food shortages earlier, and I just went, ooh, we had a crash and burn over here. Don't live in fear, just be prepared. You know, if you can raise chickens, we're actually, I threw some more in the incubator, because that's how I roll. Actually, that's how my husband rolls. But we are testing out the theory, and there's cabbages, of whether the pointy eggs really create roosters. So we've got, I don't know, maybe a dozen or so, maybe a little more eggs in the incubator, and we're trying that out. Somebody's responding to the call about his grapes.
I thought there was a problem with them, but then I just noticed that it's not.
Not a problem, babe. You got to get with Johnny and get him over here.
It's exciting.
See how you guys are going to spend the day tomorrow. So if you have the ability to stock up on some things like chicken now, I would. And if you have the ability to raise meat birds right now, I would. And just kind of be prepared for it. We're close on the corn. We're really close on the corn. Until next time, be blessed and be a blessing.